the video started just so soon. So what if it's true? I offered a series of questions in the newsletter. So we'll be talking about that this morning, as you might imagine. Announcements. Wednesday, hey, we have an open circle of prayer and meditation, and on Friday we've got, thank God, it's fellowship. Join us. June financials are available through a link in the newsletter, and of course, I'm always open for a phone call, or at least for another week and a half. So, Doug, would you like to lead us in our opening song? Thank you, Doug. And our affirmation for Living Water Unity. Together, please. Living Water Unity is a thriving spiritual community, inspired to embrace and share our abundant good now. I am empowered for joyful living by expressing God in each moment. And who would like to share our daily word this morning? Let me move this and let me hide this. Okay.
Because I could do it invisibly. I'm here.
Well, okay. I'll hold the video thumbnails aside.
Well, I've got the book too. So.
Okay.
Anyway, today is Sunday, August 22nd. Today's word is inspiration. Our affirmation is, I move in harmony with the creative flow of inspiration. Sometimes I feel inspired by the words of others, and sometimes I am inspired more by action. Today, I take my inspiration from the story of Charles Fillmore, a businessman who marveled at his wife's complete healing from serious illness. This prompted him to embark upon an intense period of prayer, meditation, and study that led to the founding in 1889 of Unity, which has become a global spiritual community. I take this story to heart and find my inspiration in my feelings of awe and wonder, love, or even healthy curiosity. Feeling an awakening of inspiration within me, I center my awareness in God. Divinely inspired, I move in harmony with the creative flow that blesses the work of my mind, my heart, and my hands. Today's scripture is from Job, chapter 32, verse 8. But truly it is the spirit in a mortal, the breath of the Almighty, that makes for understanding.
Thank you, Kate. And our affirming prayer. Of course, after our affirming prayer, I'll invite you to offer your prayers. And each one of those prayers will hold in this crucible of unconditional love. So, in the awareness that this moment, right now, this point, is the sacred moment. This is as God is said to have said to Moses, take off the sandals from your feet, for this is holy ground. We rest in the awareness that God's love has no end and is a power that knows no bounds. God's healing power of divine life is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world and our lives in this very moment. We let go of any fears or anxieties, affirming that divine order is now, has always been, and will always be at work in our lives. We bless our global family with the vision of fulfilling and empowering relationships filled with an abundance of love. We express our own divinity in all we think, say, and do. And so we hold this idea in mind that we are embraced by the divine. We are within the all that is all, closer to us than our breath. And so it is. And I invite you to offer your prayers now.
I would like to ask for prayers for all the children and teachers and school staff returning to school, that they may have a productive year for learning and a very safe and healthy one.
And so it is.
I would like to offer a prayer of thanksgiving for Charles Bluemore, whose birthday is today. I think he is a wonderful model for us. He used a lot of adversity, and he learned to go within to find answers. And his everlasting joy and enthusiasm and zest for life is something I think that we can all think about. So thank you, Charles Bluemore.
And so it is. Are there any other prayer requests?
Would like to request prayers for my daughter and her husband Tom, Kalika and Tom, who are returning from Tahiti today for a safe passage.
And so it is.
I would like to ask for prayers for all of the refugees and people in Afghanistan for the safe passage of all those who can get out, and just for the general situation.
And so it is.
I would like to ask for prayers and blessings for our church board, our steering committee, or our search committee, and hope to evolve to some sort of steering committee in the near future. All of us in the congregation as we step into a new beginning.
And so it is. I'd like to offer a prayer for Betty for peace of mind and strength.
I would like to
So it
offer prayers
is.
for Sue, who just lost her brother to COVID. Her brother's name is Bob.
I'm sorry, the brother's name is?
Bob.
It's Bob.
And so it is.
I'd like to ask for hope and health and healing for the people of Haiti.
And so it is. I'd like to offer prayers for the Taliban, that they may come to the realization that violence is not the answer, that compassion is the most effective form of governing. And for the people of Afghanistan, that they may live in peace and prosperity. And so it is. Are there any other prayer requests?
My son has requested that we put Gavin Newsom in the prayer box. He's the governor of California, facing an unprecedented recall.
And so it is.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask a prayer for my brother David, who will be undergoing brain surgery on Wednesday, provided there is an ICU bed available for him, and for his wife, Lynn, who is supporting him.
And so it is. Are there any other prayer requests? for all the prayers not spoken, for all of those who are struggling in their lives, unable to find the truth of their being, distracted by the fears that they hold, unaware of the love that is available to them at each and every moment, holding this planet and all of its beings in this crucible of unconditional love. We see them lifted and transformed by the awareness of the presence of the divine in their lives. And for this, together we say, Amen. Well, Doug, I understand you have some music for us this morning.
Morning, everybody. I'm going to play a song written in 1960 by Bruno Brighetti, an Italian composer, entitled Estate, which translates in summer, since it is summer after all. Still trying to get the feel of this new keyboard, so bear with.
Thank you, Doug. Okay. I need to get back to my reality here, right? So what if it's all true? I say that with the intent upon stimulating your question to yourself about where do you not believe that there is an underlying truth that we can rely upon. William James is said to have said that certainty is closing your accounts with reality. That by that he, of course, means that not knowing is an opportunity for us to continue to question and therefore an opportunity for us to continue to discover. There is a great benefit to that field of not knowing. It's the fertile ground out of which scientific discoveries are made. It is the fertile ground out of which creativity arises. It is fertile ground out of which the progress of human society has gone forth. And it is from certainty that comes what Ralph Waldo Emerson referred to as foolish consistency, which he referred to as the hobgoblin of little minds. And I have in the past often in the past, I have referred to something that I feel is important for us to be aware of, and that is that we collectively and individually should not accept anything that someone else says, me or anyone else, as absolute truth. And there is certainly opportunity for us to be certain at certain times of what we say, but it's also important that we not glue ourselves to that seeming truth when our experience reveals to us something else. And so the purpose of this statement is to emphasize that within us there is a wellspring of wisdom. It's ready to be nurtured and expressed. Joseph Campbell said that he, being aware of the many myths of the many cultures of the world, and I'm paraphrasing, and maybe I'm getting it all wrong because I couldn't find the reference, but I remember him saying it sometime back. I read it in one of his books that one of the things that he regretted was that with all of the knowledge of all the myths and all of the cultures, he did not attach himself, integrate one or a school of myth into his being that he could, with conviction, follow. And it is in this process of our discovery on this spiritual journey that agnosticism is a benefit. It keeps us open to, as Ernest Holmes said, keeps us open at the top. There is a passage in Mark 9:20-25 where Jesus is encountering a crowd, and he asks, "What is the trouble? What's the question here? What are you discussing?" And so out of this came this idea, or it came this situation that this man had brought his child, his boy, to the disciples because he was struck by convulsions. And so they brought the boy to Jesus. And when the spirit saw Jesus, immediately it threw the boy into convulsions, and he fell on the ground and rolled about, foaming at the mouth. And Jesus asked the father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And the father said, "From childhood. It has often cast him into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you are able to do anything, have pity on us and help us." And Jesus said to him, "If you are able, all things can be done for one who believes." And immediately the father of the child cried out and said, "I believe, help my unbelief." I find that passage particularly interesting because on the one hand he is declaring his belief that Jesus can do this, and in fact is anticipating that this is to be done. This is being done now. But at the same time he is holding this unbelief. And so I ask you to edit or to audit, not edit, to audit your own unbelief. Where are you hung up on these ideas that we have the access to the all that is all, that we are, well, let me just go back and share this because it's useful to look and read at the same time. So the first concept that I've been teaching for some time is that consciousness is a fundamental and unified aspect of the universe. That we each can connect with this one consciousness through unconditional love. That divinity is the characteristic of knowing this and acting from this knowledge. That our purpose is to grow this one consciousness through our experiences in this realm of duality. So, what is it that is keeping us from embracing these truths? And my point is that agnosticism is a very powerful state of mind. It keeps us open at the top. And the paradox being, and that if we are not believing what we hold to be true, what we intellectually embrace as truth, if in our hearts we are not integrating that into our being and into our consciousness, then we are hampered in our progress along the path. So this fundamental paradox of the spiritual journey is one that it's a both and. It's something that we can at the same time be open at the top and at the end simultaneously embrace these truths until something else proves us to be wrong. And that's back to the statement of empowerment that I referred to earlier. What if these are true? How would we construct our lives? What priorities would we establish? What relationships would we foster? What experiences would we explore? Now you may say, well, I do believe these things, that all that's true. And when we come to a place that is challenging, when we come to a situation that is threatening, or that is not as we would like it to be, do we then fall into prayer? Oh God, give me this, right? Oh God, correct this situation. Oh God, help me. I need help here. It's not to say that we don't need help. It's not to say that we're not interdependent. It's not to say that our shared consciousness is unimportant in our lives, that we are skin encapsulated egos that are self-sufficient of our own. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if we truly believe that consciousness is fundamental, that we can connect through unconditional love, that divinity is how we express this knowingness, and that our purpose is to grow the one consciousness through our experiences in this realm of duality. If we truly believe that, then is anything going to distract us from being the expression of unconditional love? Is anything going to distract us from following these beliefs, forging ahead into the unknown with the confidence that we are safe, that we are embraced by God, that we are the expressions of God in every situation, regardless of whether or not that comports with our personal opinion? So, how would we construct our lives? What kind of priorities would we establish if we really did believe and integrate that belief into our consciousness, that we are the expression of the divine in this moment? I'd like to hear from you. What priorities would you establish if, I'm not saying you have to establish this, but what priorities would you establish if all of this was true? The floor is open. And you can address any of these relationships or experiences, but let's explore this together. Let me ask a leading question. You wake up in the morning. What would be your first thought?
My first thought would be about gratitude. Gratitude for the new day and all that I am to learn. What is mine to do for the new day, and allow me to be open to that. I think Holmes' quote of remaining open at the top is perfect, because we act on our beliefs and we can move forward and be willing to change those. We find something that teaches us something new. And that's one thing I admired about Charles Fillmore, that he was willing to change when he had an insight into a new way of doing something.